Monster. Akaname. Gender, female and male. Yuri's note. Akaname means filth liquor. Female akanames mostly love the sweat of people, while male ones don't care what type of filth it is. They can be found in houses, mostly in bathrooms, but they'll stalk around to find filth around the house too. Yuri's point of view. Alright AJ, I said. I'm off to town. AJ walked up behind me, hugging me from behind. I'll see you when you get home, sweetie, AJ said. I smiled, looking over my shoulder at AJ. My beautiful wife was 2 inches taller than I was, but a year younger than me. I was 23, while she was 22. AJ kissed me on the lips before letting me go. I walked out the door, closing it behind me, before walking down the long dirt driveway to the front gate of my house. I lived out on a farm, where I bred and raised monster girls and boys. The house where I lived was 3 stories tall and housed myself, AJ, mine and AJ's children, Max and Riku, as well as AJ's older brother and my best friend / admirer, Sam, along with my editor, who didn't take up too much room, mainly because she was a fairy. There were also 2 spare rooms for when Talia and Sally, or Logan and Juliet, visited. Talia is another of my best friends, while Sally is Talia's girlfriend. Juliet is a friend and fellow monster hunter. Logan is her father, and loves helping monsters. At one point, he was one of the 3 monster hunters at the local monster hunter refuge. Once I was outside the front gate, I turned to the right and began jogging to town. Later that day, Yuri's point of view. I collapsed in the doorway of my farmhouse. After finishing my jog to town, I face-planted on the ground, crawling inside the house. I didn't realize it was going to be this hot on the way home. A pool of sweat had already begun to gather around me. Anyone home? I called. There was no reply. A sigh escaped my mouth as I rolled onto my back, looking up at the roof where there was a single housefly just walking around. I really needed a shower. I was covered with sweat and smelt horrible. My entire body ached, and it was hard for me to get to my feet, but I eventually managed to get up and make my way towards the shower. But before I even left the lounge room, a loud crashing noise that came from the kitchen caught my attention. I knew that if someone was home, they would have called back to me. An intruder? Or maybe one of the monster girls or boys got out. If that was the case, then I'd have to get them back to their pen or barn. I slowly walked into the kitchen, seeing things being pushed out of the high-up cupboards. Who's in there? I asked. I heard someone sniff. I stepped closer to the cupboard, hand hovering over my dagger, ready to use it only if necessary. Something poked their head out from the cupboard, blinking. A long tongue was hanging from their mouth. An akaname, I said. The akaname smiled. I found it, she said. That amazing smell. The akaname jumped from the cupboard and tackled me to the ground, her skinny tongue already beginning to lick all over me. This was very strange. I didn't stop her, mainly because the job of a monster hunter was to help out monster girls and boys in need. Hunting them is only for those that have done serious crimes, like murder, or have turned into demons. The akaname's eyes were closed, and she had an adorable happy look on her face. You seem to be enjoying yourself, I said. The akaname opened her eyes while nodding. Your sweat tastes amazing, mister, she said. I smiled. The akaname's tongue continued licking my body until it came to my trousers. The akaname stopped, frowning before grabbing a hold of them. You had to stop there, you know, I said. The akaname blinked and looked up at me. Why? She said. That would be classed as assaulting a hunter, I said. The akaname pouted and sighed before sitting up next to me, crossing her arms. Well, at least be my husband then, she said. A slight blush crossed my face. I already have a wife, I said. The akaname moved her face really close to mine, so that our noses were touching. I'll change your mind, mister, the akaname said. I smirked. I'd love to see you try that, I said. She smiled before throwing her arms around me and hugging me. That evening, Yuri's point of view. I walked into my office, which was located next to the bathroom on the 2nd floor of my house. My editor for my books on monster girls and boys was sitting with her laptop, editing one of the stories. Her name was Lennon, and she was a fairy. I visited the fairy realm a year ago to do some research for my book on fairies. The fairy queen had sent Lennon to help me with my book. Lennon had liked it here so much that she stayed with me, not wanting to leave. How's things coming along? I asked. Lennon smiled, looking towards me. Things are coming along well, boss, Lennon said. I smiled, walking over to my desk and sat down. Lennon went back to work. I opened a new Word document and typed the words, "A Monster Hunter's Journal."